The Betazoid warship rumbled, filled with the agonized screams of its helpless human captives as the alien slavers dragged them out of cryo sleep one by one, roughly shoving neural collars around their necks to turn Earth's children into obedient thralls. For centuries, the Betazoid Empire terrorized and subjugated the galaxy. Countless alien races fell to the ruthless conquerors, their planet stripped of resources, their people forced into slavery. None could stand against the might of the Betazoid war machine and its cruel leader, Primus. But there was one species the Betazoids had never encountered before: humanity. An Earth colony ship, the Avalon, launched long ago with its passengers in cryogenic stasis, drifting silently through the void, lost, forgotten, until the Betazoids found it. Primus led the mission to capture the defenseless humans himself, eager to learn the weaknesses of this new slave species. His troops scoured the cryo chambers, preparing the slumbering cargo for transport to the Betazoid homeworld. The humans slept on, blissfully unaware of the cruel fate awaiting them. Then a cryopod malfunctioned, and a single human awoke. Randy Baker, an ex-Special Forces soldier, trained to handle any situation, to survive, to fight. Randy knew he had to act. The Betazoids would enslave them all if he didn't. His fellow humans, his family and friends, would wake up as property of alien masters on an alien world, if any woke up at all. He had to stop that from happening. He had to save them. He was their only hope. Moving silently through the ship, Randy launches a one-man guerrilla war against the arrogant Betazoids. Striking from the shadows, he sows chaos and confusion, even as Primus grows more obsessed with defeating this lone human that defies him. The future of the human race hangs in the balance, and Randy is the only thing standing in the way of humanity's total enslavement. The Betazoid Empire had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, crushing all who stood against them. But they'd never faced anything like this. They'd never dealt with humanity. They'd never fought a human. And they had no idea what they'd just woken up. Randy slips through the shadowy corridors of the Avalon like a wraith, striking fast and fading away before the Betazoids can react. He raids their armory, stripping it of advanced alien blasters and explosives. With his special forces skills, he rigs traps and ambushes throughout the ship, whittling down Primus's soldiers one by one. In the command center, Primus slams a fist on the control panel. "I want that human found!" he snarls at his subordinates. "Scour every deck, every compartment. Bring me his head." The Betazoid commander pores over the intelligence files on human history and culture, seeking any clue to his enemy's tactics and motives. What drives this single, defiant Terran to such lengths? Deep in the bowels of the Avalon, Randy discovers the central computer core. His fingers fly over the interface, hacking through the alien encryption. The secrets of the Betazoid Empire spill across the screen, world after world subjugated, species after species enslaved. The scope of their cruelty stiffens Randy's drive. He can't let them do the same to humanity. But one man can't hold out forever. Randy needs allies. He ghosts into the cryo bay, examining the pods that hold his slumbering fellow humans. He runs a hand over the frosted glass, behind which his family and friends sleep on, faces tranquil, unaware. Randy studies the pod controls and the bay's main console. To wake them, he'll have to initiate an emergency override protocol from there. Primus has deduced the human's plan. He lies in wait with his elite guard, blaster trained on the entrance. At last, Randy makes his move. The doors hiss open and he lunges in, spraying fire from a captured Betazoid rifle. A vicious firefight erupts, the chamber lit by streaks of plasma. Randy is outmatched and outnumbered, pushed back by the sheer volume of fire. Primus advances, lips curling in a triumphant sneer, sure he has his cornered prey. But Randy has one last gambit. He slaps the security panel, sealing the room. Then he rips out an atmospheric conduit, venting the air. Randy gasps, lungs straining, betting on human endurance against Betazoid frailty. The aliens stagger, choking, and slump to the floor. Primus claws for a breathing mask. Randy, vision narrowing, staggers to the main controls. With the last of his strength, He inputs the override code and blacks out. Sirens wail, lights strobe. The cryopods disengage with a rush of vapor. Groggy humans spill out, blinking in confusion. They find Randy slumped at the controls, barely conscious. Aliens, he croaks out. They've come to... The emergency bulkhead explodes inward. Primus storms through, breath mask clamped to his face, more betazoids at his heels. Take them, he roars, jabbing a finger at the frightened, disoriented passengers. Randy forces himself up, grabs a rifle, and fires wildly at the invaders. Run, he yells at the others. Follow me. Plasma bolts sizzle past as the humans flee in a panicked herd. Randy shepherds them through the corridors, ducking and weaving, taking pot shots to cover their retreat. They pour into a cavernous cargo bay, slamming the pressure doors behind them. Barricades! Randy snaps, pointing to the heavy freight containers. The others hesitate, still bewildered. Randy softens. I know you're scared. I know this is a nightmare. But if we don't fight, those monsters will make slaves of us all. That galvanizes them. They heave the big metal crates into defensive positions around the doors. Some rummage for anything that could serve as a weapon, tools, dock equipment, whatever's at hand. Randy distributes the rifles and blasters he's captured to those who look the steadiest. But he knows it won't be enough. A couple dozen untrained civilians with scrounged weapons against the cream of the Betazoid military? They'll be slaughtered, and humanity's last hope with them. The humans jump as something heavy slams into the doors from the other side. The Betazoids are coming. Randy looks desperately around the cavernous hold, thoughts racing. They need an edge, a force multiplier. His eyes fall on the Avalon's hulking fusion reactor at the bay's far end. Unbidden, a crazy idea starts to form. It's a 1 in a million shot, suicidal even. But what choice do they have? Randy turns to the wide-eyed huddle of survivors. I have a plan, he says grimly as the doors shutter again. It's a bit nuts, but it might be our only shot. He points to the looming reactor. We're going to turn our own ship against them. If we can overload the reactor, we can take out their whole damn fleet, vaporize every last one of the alien bastards. The humans gape at him. But won't that kill us too? One woman asks tremulously. Randy's eyes hardened and, not if we time it right. Not if we give them a reason to pull their ships in close. Then we bail out in escape pods at the last second and blow it. He meets their frightened eyes, one by one. It's a long shot, I know. But it's our only chance to save ourselves. Our only chance to keep humanity from becoming slaves. The pounding on the door intensifies, metal starting to buckle. Randy raises the alien blaster rifle, lips drawing back from his teeth. So what do you say? He asks as the others grip their makeshift weapons. You ready to show these Betazoid bastards what humans are made of? Randy's eyes swept over the frightened faces of his fellow humans. Listen up, he said, his voice firm. We're going to turn this ship into our weapon. It's crazy, but it's our only shot. He laid out the plan step by step. Some looked confused, others skeptical, but all listened intently. First, we need to cut off their control, Randy explained. He pointed to a group. You lot, find the comm systems and navigation controls. Disable them completely. We can't let the Betazoids track or steer us remotely. He turned to another cluster of people. You guys, we need more power. Reroute everything you can to shields and weapons. Every bit of juice counts. As the teams dispersed, Randy gathered a small group of the toughest-looking individuals. We're taking engineering, he told them. It'll be dangerous, but we need that engine core. They crept through the ship's corridors, using hand signals to communicate. At the entrance to engineering, Randy peered around the corner. 2 Betazoid guards stood watch. Randy nodded to his team. In a burst of speed, they charged. The guards barely had time to raise their weapons before they were overwhelmed. The humans poured into engineering, catching the alien crew by surprise. A fierce but brief battle ensued. Makeshift weapons clashed against advanced Betazoid technology. In the end, human tenacity prevailed. With engineering secure, Randy raced to the main control panel. His fingers flew over the alien interface, initiating a complex series of commands. "What are you doing?" one of the humans asked. "Overriding the safeties," Randy replied, not looking up. "We're going to overload this whole damn reactor, turn the Avalon into one big guided missile." Alarms blared as the reactor core began to build towards critical mass. Randy diverted power, reinforcing the ship's nose with shield energy. "Course locked," he announced grimly. "Next stop, Betazoid homeworld." Suddenly the ship rocked with explosions. Betazoid forces, led by a furious Primus, launched their counterattack. "They're coming!" someone shouted. Randy grabbed a weapon. "Hold the line!" he yelled. "We just need to buy a little more time." The engineering bay erupted into chaos as Betazoid soldiers poured in. Humans and aliens clashed in desperate hand-to-hand combat. Randy found himself face-to-face with Primus. The Betazoid commander's eyes blazed with hatred as he lunged forward. They grappled fiercely, trading blows. For a moment, Randy gained the upper hand, landing a solid punch, but Primus's alien strength proved too much. With a powerful move, he slammed Randy to the ground. As Primus loomed over him, Randy knew it was over. But he had one last card to play. With the last of his strength, he slapped a control panel. "What have you done?" Primus snarled. Randy grinned defiantly. "Saved my people," he spat. "The cryopods are ejecting. Humanity will survive, and one day we'll stop you." The ship shuddered violently. In a blinding flash, the warp core breached. The Avalon disintegrated, its armored nose riding the shockwave towards the Betazoid homeworld. On the planet below, sirens wailed as cities evacuated. But it was too late. The Avalon's remains streaked through the atmosphere, an unstoppable force of destruction. Primus watched in horror from his flagship as his homeworld's capital vanished in a mushroom cloud. The Betazoid Empire, terror of the galaxy, lay in ruins. In the aftermath, scout ships from the Horizon Coalition, an alliance of species-resisting Betazoid rule, discovered the ejected human cryopods drifting in space. They marveled at the incredible turn of events, realizing that humanity's audacious attempt had changed everything. The battered human cryopods drifted silently through the debris field, their occupants blissfully unaware of the chaos that had unfolded. A Horizon Coalition scout ship, its hull a patchwork of scavenged parts, edged cautiously through the wreckage. "Captain, I'm picking up life signs," the sensor operator called out, antennae twitching with excitement. They're human." The bridge erupted into a flurry of activity as the crew maneuvered to retrieve the pods. As they were brought aboard, the alien crew gathered around, peering at the frost-covered capsules with a mix of awe and trepidation. "Contact Coalition Command immediately," the captain ordered. Tell them we found survivors." Hours later, the massive hodgepodge of ships that formed the Coalition's mobile headquarters loomed before them. The scout ship docked, and a swarm of technicians descended upon the cryopods. In a hastily converted docking bay, Coalition medics worked feverishly to revive the human occupants. Randy Baker was among the first to regain consciousness, coughing and sputtering as his eyes adjusted to the harsh light. Where am I?" he croaked, struggling to sit up. A tall, willowy alien with iridescent skin approached. "You are safe, human. I am Regent Vortak of the Horizon Coalition. We have much to discuss." As the other humans were revived, Vortak explained the situation. He gestured to a holographic display showing the devastation wrought upon the Betazoid homeworld. "Your actions have changed everything," Vortak said, his voice a mix of admiration and urgency. "The Betazoid Empire is crumbling, but they are not defeated yet. We need your help to finish this fight." Randy listened intently as Vortak outlined the Coalition's strategy. When shown recordings of his own guerrilla campaign aboard the Avalon, he couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. "You've given us hope," Vortak concluded. "Will you join us in bringing peace to the galaxy?" Randy looked around at his fellow humans, seeing the same dedication in their eyes that he felt in his heart. "Earth is lost to us," he said. "But we can still fight for a future. Count us in." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Coalition techs swarmed over the remaining cryopods, reinforcing them with armor plating and integrating weapons systems. Randy found himself thrust into an advisory role, poring over Betazoid ship schematics with alien strategists. In a makeshift training area, Randy put a group of human volunteers through their paces. "Remember," he barked, demonstrating a takedown move, "Betazoids rely heavily on their telepathy. Use that against them. Keep your thoughts chaotic, unpredictable." As the Coalition fleet gathered, tension mounted. Scout reports confirmed that Primus had regrouped at a fortified shipyard in the Gryler system. Vortak called Randy to the command center, a cacophony of alien languages and flashing displays. "We have our target," the Regent said, pointing to a holographic representation of the Gryler shipyard. "But a frontal assault alone won't be enough. We need your skills for a covert operation." Randy studied the hologram, mind racing with possibilities. "A two-pronged attack," he mused. "Hit them hard from the front while we slip in the back door." Vortak nodded approvingly. "Exactly. Assemble your team, Randy Baker. The fate of humanity and all alien species may well rest on this mission." As Randy left to brief his squad, the enormity of the task ahead settled over him. They were about to take on the remnants of an empire that had terrorized the galaxy for generations. But as he looked around at the diverse array of alien species working together, he felt a glimmer of hope. The Coalition fleet began to move into position, a motley armada united against a common foe. In the depths of a specially modified infiltration craft, Randy and his team made their final preparations. The battle for Gryler and the future of the galaxy was about to begin. The Coalition fleet materialized in the Gryler system, a kaleidoscope of alien vessels united against a common foe. Randy gripped the controls of the stealth shuttle, his heart pounding as they slipped past the outer defenses of the Betazoid shipyard station. "Docking sequence initiated," whispered his co-pilot, fingers dancing across the alien interface. With a soft thud, they latched onto the station's underbelly. Randy nodded to his team, their faces grim and determined. "Remember the plan. Hit hard, hit fast." They moved swiftly through the maintenance decks, the distant rumble of turbolaser fire vibrating through the hull. At a junction, Randy split his forces. "Team Alpha, take out those shield generators. Bravo, you're on command relays. Charlie, with me, we're rigging the pulse charges." The corridors echoed with the sounds of battle as Randy's team worked. They planted charges at critical junctions, the devices beeping softly as they armed. Suddenly alarms blared. "Intruder alert! All security forces sweep and contain!" Randy cursed under his breath. "Double time, people!" They rounded a corner and froze. A squad of Betazoid commandos blocked their path, weapons raised. "Scatter!" Randy yelled, diving for cover as energy bolts seared the air. The corridor erupted into chaos. Human and Betazoid clashed in a brutal melee. Randy watched in horror as his comrades fell, cut down by the superior strength and skill of Primus's elite guard. A crushing blow sent Randy reeling. He struggled to his feet, only to find himself surrounded. Cold hands gripped his arms, dragging him away from the carnage. Randy was hauled onto the command deck, face to face with Primus himself. The Betazoid commander's eyes gleamed with cruel triumph. "Your pitiful resistance ends here," Primus sneered. Randy spat blood. "It's not over. The station will fall." Primus laughed, a chilling sound. "Oh, but it is. Even now my technicians prepare our final strike." He gestured to a holographic display, showing a massive energy buildup. A wormhole capable of consuming this entire sector, and with it, the end of your precious coalition. Randy's mind raced, searching for a way out. His eyes darted to his bound hands, where a tiny holdout blaster remained hidden. In a desperate move, Randy lunged forward, bringing the concealed weapon to bear. But before he could squeeze the trigger, a barrage of fire from the Betazoid guards cut him down. As Randy collapsed, Primus loomed over him. "Such spirit," the Betazoid mused. "It's almost a shame we couldn't break you properly." Outside, space itself began to warp and twist. The wormhole blossomed, tendrils of gravimetric force reaching out hungrily. Coalition ships, caught in its pull, were drawn inexorably inward. On the Coalition flagship, alarms blared. Vortak stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "All ships, emergency evacuation. Jump to slipstream now." But it was too late. The station imploded, the wormhole's maw swallowing it whole. A shockwave of unimaginable power tore through space, hurtling the surviving ships across the galaxy. In the chaos, a lone cryopod activated. Its occupant, a young woman, stumbled onto the bridge of a battered Horizon cruiser. Dazed and confused, she stared at the unfamiliar starfield outside. With trembling hands, she activated the comm system. Her voice cracked as she broadcast across all channels. This is Sarah Chen of Earth. Is anyone out there? Please respond. I think I might be the last human alive." Static answered her plea. Sarah sank to her knees, the weight of her situation crushing down upon her. She was alone, adrift in an unknown corner of the universe, with no idea if Earth or humanity even existed anymore. As the cruiser's alien crew worked to stabilize their damaged systems, Sarah steeled herself for the challenges ahead. She didn't know where she was or what had become of her people, but she was alive, and as long as she drew breath, there was hope. Sarah stood squaring her shoulders. "All right," she said to herself and the alien crew around her. "Let's see what's out there." The cruiser limped forward, venturing into the vast unknown of an altered galaxy.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.